You know, we had a war with China in 62. It took us 14 years after that to send back an ambassador. It took us 12 more years for a Prime Minister of India to visit that country. And from 1988, there was a certain understanding between India and China on the basis of which the relationship was rebuilt. Okay. We obviously couldn't solve the problems, in most of all the boundary issue, but we built a relationship with managed it. There were dialogues and negotiations going on while other parts of the relationship grew. Okay, the economic relationship grew. There were more exchanges. People went up. The rest, and even on the boundary. In fact, we had a series of agreements which laid out in great detail protocols on how to manage the boundary, how to deploy, how to ensure that something accidental doesn't happen. All the while, negotiations were going on to find a solution to the boundary issue. Now, from then, let us, if we use 1988 as a starting point, till 2020, while we had had incidents along in the boundary, in the border areas, we had not actually had bloodshed. The last bloodshed was 45 years before 2020. Okay, so what happened in 2020 was actually very traumatic for the relationship. It wasn't just the bloodshed, it was the disregard of written agreements. Because this isn't a gray area we are talking about. I mean, the departure from the terms of what was agreed to was very sharp and very substantial. Now, through this period, I mean, obviously it took us, I mean, we're still dealing with some parts of this. So it's not like the issue has completely gone away. We felt that, I mean, obviously it called for a military response on India's side, which happened. There was a counter deployment by us. But we also felt that the way forward was to find a negotiated outcome, and that's what we've been trying to do since 2020. Now, the answer to your question is, we don't think this period serves the interests of either India or China. How do we benefit by having a very tense relationship with that a large number of troops out there at very hostile environment, and all the collateral damage which it has done to the relationship? Because obviously, if peace and tranquility in the border areas were disturbed, then the rest of the relationship can't go on as normal. So I mean, in terms of, I would say, principles or concepts, we have basically made 2 points, which is differences should not become disputes, and that competition should not become conflict. That we can differ on many issues.
Yes.
We do compete on many issues. But because we compete doesn't mean that there should be a conflict between us. We are very realistic about it. So we know that between India and China, there will, at least in the foreseeable future, there will be issues. But there are ways of addressing those issues.
Yes.
And what happened in 2020 was not the way to address those issues. So right now, we feel that from October of last year, the relationship has seen some improvement. We are working on different aspects of it. I've met my counterpart a few times, so have my other senior colleagues. And what we are trying step by step is to see if we can rebuild, undo some of the damage which happened as a result of their actions in 2020, and we can rebuild the relationship. And we genuinely, sincerely think that this is in our mutual interest, that if one looks at that 2020 to 25, 20 to 25, I think it was a period which did not serve them well and it did not serve us well.